So every holiday needs a nice, relaxing type of fragrance, but there are those other occasions, aren't there, where you just want something a bit more expensive, a bit more sophisticated. So yes, good morning and welcome to part 2 of this vacation sort of challenge. Essentially, if you haven't seen my first video, in a couple of months' time, I'm going on holiday. I'm going down to the West Country, to Cornwall, and we're doing basically a little bit of competition. I like to take 2 fragrances when I'm away, and yesterday the winner of the first competition was La Cesti. And the reason we kind of did that first round, they were kind of more of your cheapy, dumb reach everyday type scents, rather than anything too serious, too formal. But today we're going to do part 2. I want to take another fragrance where, let's going out for a nice evening meal, where I want to wear a nice shirt, something that I think can just kind of take you to that next level in fragrance, a little bit more statement essentially, to complement that more relaxing, just going out of the sea, coming out the shower type fragrance. And I've got 4 again today that we're going to go through during my workout to decide which one I think is the best. If you haven't seen these sort of videos before, I'll do a morning workout and I'm going to go through certain categories and then pick a fragrance that I think is the best for that occasion, all linked to being on vacation. So that's essentially all it's going to be. The one that wins the most rounds, I will take on holiday to me or with me for that sort of couple of months, well, in a couple of months' time when I'm away. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spray every fragrance now, tell you about them, a little bit of info, what they roughly smell like, and why I've been sort of chosen for this competition. So let's go into the first one. I kind of picked this one because it's an old school retro fragrance that it's not really sort of summery, but there has definitely summer nuances. I think this is a signature scent, but it's Guerlain Rouge Eau de Toilette. Now, the original of this came out in 1965. I believe they've kind of reformulated it a little bit and there's a slightly newer release. But this is a lovely fragrance. It's like a watery rose. That's kind of what I get with this sweet vanilla just in the background as well. But it's very soapy. I get a real soapy vibe with this one. Bit of musk maybe, and it's certainly not masculine like some of those other fragrances you would expect, like an Aramis that came out at the same time. Hasn't got those really aggressive smoky green vibes to it. This is very much all about the florals for me, alongside a lemon that I think softened by that vanilla, but it is a lovely scent and I really enjoy that one. Kind of get that one for around 60 odd pound. This one here, Maison Tahite Sauvigny, I paid £90 for this one. Again, not a particularly well-known brand, but they kind of do these fragrances that replicate certain smells, and there's some that just smell like pure aggressive chocolate, some that smell a little bit like coffee, all very nice. But this one here is obviously around the note of vanilla. Now it's a vanilla, and I believe it's got some C notes in this, and that's what you pick up. It's got this very much sun cream vibe about it, very strong on that vanilla. But it almost feels like you've jumped in the sea and just come back out. There's a bit of saltiness with this as well. So that's why I've chosen this one. Basically, it's got that sort of sun cream vibe, but there is that element of quality. This is very strong, very in your face, and you can tell it's not those real cheapy fragrances. It's aggressive, put it that way. This one here, you know this fragrance here, the original Terre D'Hermes. You could wear this all year as well. It's one that certainly has the ability to dress up, which is why I've chosen it for this competition. Yeah, it's this smoky orange. It's a kind of, like I said, a very earthy orange. I think there must be a bit of patchouli in this. I think there's flint in it as well, a bit of pepper. Peppery, smoky, dirty orange. That's the main things I'm getting from this. Very masculine, very classy. And I've worn that one in the summer. I've worn it plenty of times in the summer, sort of dressing up with nice shirts, and I think it's brilliant. And then the last one, which I did mention a few months ago that I just had to put in this competition, Acqua de Parma Arancia di Capri. Again, it is another orange note, but it's a lot more different. It's a bit more like an orange squash. Yes, it's more fizzy. It's more like a fizzy orange drink. There's no smokiness to this. There is actually caramel in the base of this fragrance, but again, I don't get that one at all from that. It is just very much this most natural orange that essentially you've just squeezed and rubbed your hands and smell it. That's what it smells like. It just smells like you've opened the ripest orange you can find. And again, for a fragrance that came out in 1999, absolutely timeless. Brilliant fragrance. And they're 4 great fragrances. First of all, I need to say that before we go into the competition today. They're really good fragrances. I can't wait to kind of go through them today. And yeah, just enjoy wearing them during my workout as much as anything as well. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go through the sort of questions during my run. And then we'll do a couple more on the way to the gym. And then maybe a couple more as I leave the gym as well to decide which other fragrance is coming with me on my holiday alongside Ceci. So yeah, let's go outside. I'm hoping to do maybe 3 or 4 rounds while I'm out there, so hopefully you'll be there to join me. And we are off, and it is quite simply another gorgeous day. It's busy around Monday morning, and obviously everyone's thinking of going to work, but I'm in that holiday mode today. And we're going to start with that as the first category here. Out of the 4 fragrances, which one do I think most likely sort of screams summer holiday? Which fragrance do I think stands out as being one that represents being on holiday and on vacation? So I'm going to rule out Sauvignon for this first round. And that's purely because it is a vanilla dominant fragrance. And when I'm thinking of summertime and fragrances that are suited to the summer, probably the first note I don't really think of is vanilla. It doesn't feel like a note that represents the summer, and while the sea sort of accords in this do give that kind of sun creamy vibe in combination with vanilla, it's not as good an option for me as some of the others in this tournament. So I'm going to rule that one out first, and for the same reason I'm going to do that with Habit Rouge. Habit Rouge, a lovely old school fragrance, but there's a lot going on in there, and there's so many nuances. You know, the floral components, again, don't really give me that beachy seaside vibe, and there's a bit of vanilla in this as well. And I just think that one has got so much going for it that actually when you think of holiday, I don't really want that complexity with my scent. And that then just leaves me to 2 fragrances, Terre D'Hermes or Arancia di Capri by Acqua de Parma. And I'm going to give the first round here to Arancia di Capri. That citrusy orange scent is just delicious. It's so nice. It's so simplistic, but it smells so quality that, again, I can just picture myself on the beach early morning, sitting there with an orange juice or something with this fragrance on, and it is perfect for that beachy vibe, those beachy occasions. One of the most realistic orange scents I know, and that's why it's taken the first round. Terre D'Hermes is a great orange scent, but again, that slightly smoky nuance to it, not as suited to holiday. So the first round, Arancia di Capri by Acqua de Parma. So something else that I'm particularly looking forward to when we get away is going for a meal out with the family. And I don't mean like a takeaway on this occasion, I mean like a proper meal out where you can wear a nice shirt and just sort of, feel good at yourself. You've been in the sea all day, you've just had a shower, now you're dressing up and you're having some nice food, and we're definitely going for some tapas while we're there, and that can be a little bit smelly, particularly if you're having seafood, which I love and I have a lot of. So which one here do I think is the best for that dress up meal out with family occasion? Well, I'm going to have to rule out the winner of the first round here, Arancia di Capri. 2 reasons really. One, it's super tame. It's got really no performance on it, to be honest with you. It's 1 to 2 hours, and then it's very much a skin scent, very close to the skin. So that one I'm going to rule out. There's not a lot of complexity with that fragrance either, and I think on a night out I'd be quite happy to have a bit more complexity and something that packs a bit more of a punch. Now the other 3 are quite close, but I'm going to rule out Habit Rouge again here, probably for the same reasons I did in the first round. Look, it's very nice, but the florals in it are so prominent, and I don't think, because the florals aren't that dark, they're not like a dark rose or anything, it doesn't have that vibe of night out for me. It's more of an everyday signature scent, and I just think that soapiness isn't really what I want for those occasions where I'm dressing up a bit more. I want something a little bit more formal than that. So that leaves me with the original Terre D'Hermes and Sauvignon by Maison Tahite. And the winner I'm going to give to this is Maison Tahite, purely because I think vanilla is much more suited to night out. But what I like with this, the sea notes are prominent enough where it still feels like you're on a beachy holiday. It's got really good performance, beachy holiday vibe, but that vanilla will kick through and be noticed even with all the other smells in the restaurant that maybe not as quite as pleasant, and they'll be noticed by people around you a bit more. I think Terre D'Hermes would have been perfect, but that smokiness about it is a bit more serious, and when you're on holiday you don't want it to be serious, even if you're at more of a dress-up occasion, a dress-up event. So for that reason, Maison Tahite, for its performance and the fact it's got more of a night-out note in vanilla, has to win this round. Oh, that's better. I've finally found a quiet spot away from the cars, so it's a perfect time then to get on to round 3, and we're going to talk about which one gives you the best scent memory. And by that I mean which fragrance will strengthen those memories the most, which one will take you back to that feeling of being on holiday down in the West Country, for me, the strongest. And I've kind of chosen my winner here through the process of elimination, and the two that I've eliminated straight away here is the original Terre D'Hermes and Guerlain Habit Rouge, and I'm going to say that for the same reason for both. They are brilliant scents, they have been around for a long time, but the one problem with that, of course, is where they're super popular, it's not that unlikely that you won't smell the scent. You know, if you travel, you know, if I go to the gym today, someone might be wearing one of those. Someone might be wearing them if you go to the cinema or if you're in your local area. Because they're very popular, they do lack, in some ways, that uniqueness that will take me back to that moment. It's like, because everyone wears Dior Sauvage, for example, I wouldn't take that one on holiday because I know that smells everywhere and it doesn't take me back to that exact moment of being on holiday. And then that leaves me the last two then. So that leaves me with Arancia di Capri by Parma and Salvini, which are winners of the first two rounds so far. And I'm actually going to give the winner here again to Maison Tahite Salvini. That one is a very niche fragrance. I don't know how many people know this brand. I don't know how much this fragrance is going to stay around. But that in some ways gives it that uniqueness, which if I take it on holiday with me, will take me back to that exact moment. Why Arancia di Capri is a brilliant, brilliant fragrance, and the orange scent is so natural, so realistic. There are lovely orange fragrances around that are all in someone. Orange is one of the most utilised notes in fragrances. And I feel like I could replicate that smell more than the Salvini fragrance. And for that reason, I've just got to give it to Maison Tahite Salvini, just for that extra uniqueness, which I think will strengthen that scent memory more than the others, where I feel like I can either get that fragrance or smell of people wearing it, or just replicate it with a cheaper scent. So that's the reason Salvini wins this round. Okay, and the final round I'm going to do during my run today is probably everyone's most important reason for buying fragrances, and that of course is compliment. Let's be honest, a lot of us have probably gone into fragrances because someone, 2-3 people have said nice things about it, and then it becomes a bit of a hobby. So which one here do I think is the best for getting compliments? And unfortunately again here, I'm going to have to rule out Arancia di Capri, not because of its scent. It is quite simplistic, obviously orange scent, but more for me because it is so tame. And when you're on like a summer vacation, you're going to be outside a lot. This one is only going to really be noticed by people who are sitting right next to you, maybe on the sofa. Maybe they've put on one of your t-shirts that you've taken off so you get a suntan, you know, anything like that. But they're not going to notice it if you're moving about and you're outdoors at the beach. So people around you aren't going to particularly give you any comments, not because they don't like it, because they don't notice it. Now, I had so many compliments on the original Terre D'Hermes, but unfortunately it's not about me here. It's about what I think would work for most people as well who are going on holiday. And I think for me, while this one's great for compliments, it's one where the longevity is better than the projection. So again, I don't think it's going to be noticed outdoors so much, but also on the flip side of that, it does go into a smoky sort of dry down that doesn't give me that feeling of being on holiday so much. And I love it. I absolutely love it. But pepper sometimes can be a little bit too much for some people. It has got that peppery spice about it as well. I think it's more suited to those summer evenings, maybe when you're at home at a sort of, a party with friends rather than just a relaxing beachy holiday, because it has got a formal element to it. Then we go into the last two. So we've got Habit Rouge and Salvini. I'm going to give the winner here to Salvini again. I can't believe I'm saying it, but it is so loud. It's a really loud fragrance that you're going to notice outside. It has got that feeling of smelling like sun cream. I don't know if there's a bit of coconut or something in this as well, but it's very prominent and people are going to notice that. And it feels like one where you have just come out the sea. And if you're on a summer vacation, maybe you've gone to one where you're by a poolside, some sort of resort. It just gives you that vibe of sitting on a sun lounger, just chilling out, enjoying yourself, going in the sea. And it's less formal, it's less serious. It smells high quality. And I don't think the blend's the best at times, but it does replicate that holiday vibe the most and has the strongest performance because of those sweeter notes. And I think that's going to lend itself more to getting compliments. Habit Rouge is absolutely lovely, but it is old school, it is retro, and that might be a bit divisive at the same time. So Salvini wins another round. Oh, it's good to be back, and it's now time to do the next round. We're going to do one of the rounds that we did yesterday, essentially. Which one do I think would be the best gift, whether that's for yourself or to buy someone else? And this is quite an easy one for me. Arancia di Capri, completely unisex fragrance by Acqua, Parma, straight down the middle. It's very classy, it's not too heavy, and that's what I really like about it. If someone wasn't the biggest fan of it, you wouldn't be too bothered. You're not going to be too upset. There's nothing divisive about this that makes you, I couldn't buy this. Salvini, 100 ml personally is too much for me anyway, and I'm someone who likes the bigger bottles, as you can tell from some of the ones I've got there, Habit Rouge and the Terre D'Hermes, they're over 100 ml or 100 ml. I just think I'm going to be sick of this one by the end, and I'm not going to want it again. And that's why I think it's a good scent memory fragrance, because I can just wear it for that occasion and then not particularly own it again. Habit Rouge, as I said, is divisive. It's an old school fragrance. I don't think it's too daring personally myself, but I can see why for someone else it would be. And Terre D'Hermes is just a masculine scent. So if you're buying for a lady, maybe not the best fragrance to go for because of that smoky sort of dry down, even though I still think it is probably my favourite of the four. But Arancia Capri is just so easy to pull off, so refreshing, and I don't think I'll ever get sick of this scent DNA. One, because it's not strong, you can overspray it a little bit more, and two, just because it is such an easy to pull off, mass pleasing scent. So that would be the one I'd buy for myself and also for someone else. Okay, so the next one is which fragrance is going to be the best to travel. So I mentioned this one yesterday. Essentially bottle size and the sort of shape of the bottle here particularly matters. Now I'm going to just assume these are all 100 ml. Obviously the ones I've got here are different sizes, but this one's very good. Selvigny, in terms of the lid, you can shake it. I know it's not going to fall off. The lid is very secure. The shape of it's a problem though. That round shape, not as easy to stack things up on, not as best to fit in bags. Habit Rouge, that solves that problem. Again, look, perfect square shape. You can stack things on top or to the side, slip it in a pocket if you really had to. The lid on this one though is definitely not as secure. You can see it twists around. Doesn't take a huge amount of effort to take that one off either, but it's okay. It is okay, that one, but I wouldn't feel really confident shaking that too aggressively. Arancia EDT Capri, unfortunately, it's got the same problem, and the lid isn't very good on this one. Again, not a lot of effort to take this one off. It wouldn't fall off. Again, I'm pretty confident doing it, but too much if it's in a bag, I'd worry that it might do. But I'm going to give the winner here to the original Terre D'Hermes. It's the only one that doesn't actually have a proper cap. It's like a slidey thing. That keeps it more secure for me. That's not going to leak in my bag, I don't think, as much. Again, it's that square shape. Will fit in a bag better. So for me, that's the clear winner for this round. But we're going to do the next few while we're out on our walk. Okay, so going on to round 7, and I'm going to do the same as I did yesterday. I'm going to say which one do I think would be the best for my holiday vlogs, because I will be doing YouTube videos, of course, when I'm away. And which one do I think would be the best? There's a standout for me, and it sounds boring, but I'm going to have to pick this one again. Selvigny. Now, there's a few reasons for this one. I've got some ideas already in mind. Of course, I'd like to do some weird layering videos. The fact it's got some sweet notes in it, obviously the vanilla and the fresh notes as well, means it could be quite useful for a layering video. But it's also one that I don't particularly like, and I've obviously got Zesty going with me at the moment, and the other three in this competition today I 100% prefer the smell to. And I think it's a bit boring if I just went on for 2 weeks saying how much I love Terre D'Hermes, how much I love Habit Rouge, how much I love Arancia EDT Capri. I think it'd be quite interesting for a 2-week holiday to see if Selvigny can change my mind. It's one where, again, I'm really not a massive fan of either of the two that I've got. I've got Cacao Squared by them as well. And I've just found with them, once I've used about 10-20 mil of them, I've kind of ended up disliking them more just because they are so heavy and so aggressive. So I think it'd be quite interesting, alongside the weird layering videos, maybe to do one where I can see if it can change my mind over 2 weeks. We can maybe turn that into like a fragrance film as well. But also, it is so strong, as I just said. Maybe we can do a longevity test with it. Maybe I can just spray it literally in the morning, see how much it survives a run, a walk, and going in the sea later on in the day, and also a night out. So I think it's probably the best for a longevity test as well. And for that reason, that's why I would pick that one, I think, in my opinion, for doing YouTube videos. But yeah, let me know which one you'd like me to do the best, and maybe I could change my opinion on this round. Okay, so on to round 8, and we're going to call this odour repellent round. Yes, now what I mean by this, and I'm sure some of you have had this experience before, when you stay in certain hotels, or sometimes you might just be a bit lazy yourself and you don't really want to be doing these things, you don't always wash your clothes. And sometimes if you're on a beachy holiday, you might have a dog friendly place, or a place where they store like wetsuits. I know that obviously when we go, there's a rack for wetsuits where we can obviously leave ours after we've been in the sea so we don't get the floor wet. You do sometimes get a smell in these places, and sometimes your clothes don't always smell the freshest if you haven't got a washing machine. So which fragrance of the 4 do I think would be the best, almost to mask those bad smells? Now, it would have been easy for me to say Selvigny because it is the strongest, but in some ways I think that's counterproductive for this one, because if you're kind of using it as a fabric spray or a room spray, it's too nauseating, it's too strong on that vanilla. You're going to get headaches after a while with this one, I think, and just not want it. I think Terre D'Hermes is very good, but as I said earlier on, I think this one's better for its longevity than its projection. So if you're using it more as a room spray, I don't think it's going to mask those smells. I think it'd be fine if you're spraying like your running shoes, like I will be, or your sea shoes. It might have that boggy seaweed smell, but in terms of in the air, I'm not so sure that's going to do the job. Arancia de Capri, obviously not. I think it's the nicest room spray of the four, but it's just not going to last on clothing. And then I think the one that's got the best of both worlds here is Habit Rouge. I actually really like floral room sprays. I like floral candles. And I just think that extra depth and complexity in this scent will be very nice, first of all, on clothing, on fabric, and just as a room spray in general, because it is soapy clean, a bit musky, a breath of fresh air. And I think for that reason, if we don't have a washing machine for any reason, or if our wetsuits start to have that slightly pungent sewage sort of smell, I think that one will be the best because of the extra complexity it's got in it. I've just left the gym and I think it's probably the right time to do round 9 then. And I'm going to say which one is the best for a workout. Which one do I think when I'm there in the summer, walking up cliffs, going in the sea, going for runs, whatever I'm up to, which one do I think is going to be the best for that occasion to complement lush, zesty? And I think this is a pretty easy one for me, and it's not just because of this fragrance specifically, even though I've got good experience of this one. I really enjoyed it today, the original Terre D'Hermes. Now, Hermes fragrances are so reminiscent of spring, summertime. They feel like you should be outdoors with them on. You know, some of them smell like, well, I actually think the flanker of this one, Givre, smells a bit like a tomato greenhouse. I think some of the other fragrances they've got, I've got Rhubarb Eclat, they've also got Hermes 824. They just make you feel like being outside in a spring garden, a summer garden. While I've enjoyed all of them today, I've even enjoyed Selvigny, I think on a hotter day, because it was quite cool first thing this morning. I'm not going to enjoy that one in the summer up on, you know, the cliff tops when I'm getting sweaty and sticky. And I think, again, as much as I love Habit Rouge, I think it is a little bit too much going on to really enjoy it for a workout. And then from Arancia de Capri, while I think it's very nice, I actually think it's better than a workout fragrance. I think they're all better than a workout fragrance, but that one is too tame, and when you're getting hot and sweaty, it's going to wear off even quicker than it does even without getting too hot. So yeah, it was pretty easy for this round. Terre D'Hermes is the winner for the best workout fragrance, which I would like on my vacation. Of course, unfortunately, as we all know with holidays, all good things must come to an end. And the last kind of round I'm wanting to do here is which one's going to travel the best in the car. And I don't mean like the bottle, as I said earlier on. I mean which one would be the nicest to sit, you know, the 7-8 hour car journey, whatever it's going to be. Which is the one that you're going to most happily wear, and also not obviously offend anyone else in the car with you. And for me, that's pretty easy. It's going to be Guerlain Habit Rouge, but it's so much complexity about it, and I'm sure my dad isn't going to want to be driving and talking about fragrances for the whole time. But it's one where, if you did want to talk about fragrances, me and my brother talk about sprays quite a lot. There's a little bit more about it than some of the other ones. I mean, I'm sure my brother absolutely loves quizzes. I'm sure I could come up with a Habit Rouge quiz in the car. I'm sure he's going to love that, isn't he? But if I tested him to see if he knew all the notes in the fragrance, I'd be really interested to see how much he can detect and actually how much I can detect, because they are such big note breakdowns in these retro fragrances. I just think it's one I could sit in the car with and it would just interest me that whole time. It's not as boring, it's not as cloying. I just appreciate retro fragrances. If you've got an appreciation for retro fragrances, whether you love them or not, yeah, you can't stop smelling them. I cannot stop smelling because it's got that uniqueness about it. And what I do like with that is sometimes when you sit in the car, I'll be sitting there probably with a pillow and scruffy clothes on, putting on a slightly higher quality fragrance, I think, in the car will make me feel better, particularly if I'm feeling down in the dumps, travelling back from a holiday. But yeah, that is all the rounds. I don't have a clue which one has won today, so what I'll do when we head back, I'll count up all the rounds and we will pick the winner that is coming with me on holiday. I've done some strange rounds today, haven't I? So we are back, and I have managed to do today 43,256 steps. Yes, quite a lot, all while wearing 4 phrases that I think would be perfect for going on holiday. But which one won overall out of the 4 phrases we had today? Well, we've kind of got a joint second, unfortunately. It's a bit of a damp squib, let's say. We've got Arancia de Capri, the original Terre D'Hermes, and Guerlain Habit Rouge. So they've all come joint second with 2 rounds won each. But the one that is the overall winner today is this one, Maison Tahite Selvigny. Now, I'll be honest with you, this one is my least favourite of the 4 phrases. But when I am thinking of holiday time, I think it probably is the best of the 4, alongside Arancia de Capri. But I think the one, or the reason this one's edged it today, it's just that extra bit of performance and that extra uniqueness about this one, because it's not as mainstream, it's not in the fragrance world as much as the other three. I think it's going to make it stand out for that holiday, for that moment, than the others where you might smell someone else wearing those fragrances, or in the case of Arancia di Capri, not particularly at all, because it's quite tame. So I'm just going to give it a quick spray again. Yeah, look, I don't think I'm going to love it, and to be honest with you, do I deep down really want to take it? No, but I think it's one that this is the opportunity for it to win me over. There's quite a bit of juice still left in it. If I'm not going to use it then, when am I going to use it ultimately? And look, hopefully by the end of the holiday, I'll go, do you know what? I really enjoyed it. And look, because it's not my favourite one, I've got another one that I really enjoy coming with me called Zesty, of course. I think this one will be fine. I think it will complement that well because it's a bit sweeter rather than that citrus zestiness. I think it will make it just, yeah, it's just perfect. It's a perfect alternative, essentially. And I think that's what makes it quite interesting as well. So even though I don't like it, at least I'll always remember this phrase for that amazing holiday, hopefully, that's going to have coming up. But 4 great fragrances. I recommend them all. I recommend them all. But I would say Sauvigny, which is the one I've obviously got. You've got to like that sun creamy type vibe. But if you do, it's a brilliant one that reminds you of the holidays. And that's why it's won the competition today, winning 4 rounds. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this one. Going to do another weird sort of video tomorrow again. Phrases that I don't like. I think I mentioned this yesterday. And then I'm going to try some layering with that. So Sauvigny, it's not that bad. That won't be the one doing the weird layering. I don't dislike it that much. But there's a couple in my collection that I might be using tomorrow. So hopefully you'll join me for that. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.